Hey guys, so today we're gonna do a DIY of our very own ring light at just the price of 300 rupees. The most important thing you'll need is a 5-meter LED strip. It comes in a coil thing and retails for approximately 265 rupees. The adapter comes free. I just asked the shop owner to fix the wires for me. He added 3 meters of extra wire. You can get the length as per your requirement. Then you will need an aluminium foil. It will help the light reflect even better. A sheet of butter paper, a cutter to cut the thermocol sheet, or even a cardboard, whichever you choose as a base, and of course a fevicol to stick all of that goodness in place. Here I'll be using the front and back of an old notebook to make the rim of the ring light. So since we have all our materials with us, so let's get started. So here I'm taking a random plate to trace out the circle of the inner diameter of the ring light. I'm using a sketch pen and I'm drawing the circle out. So since I did not have a larger plate, I had to freehand the outer circle. So I'm moving on with very small strokes and I'm just drawing a rough outer circle. I know it's looking a bit messy, but don't judge me for that. I guess it's absolutely fine. So here I am going over it one more time and making it fine and perfect for us to work with it. So now we are gonna take our cutter and very carefully we're gonna trace our line on the marking that we have put. So just keep pressing your cutter very carefully along the markings that you have drawn. And as you can see, it's already starting to come off. Working with a thermocol base is really difficult, and I really wished at this point of time that I had waited for me to find a cardboard base, but I was way too desperate and I was actually very excited to make this craft, so I just couldn't resist. And here we have our outer circles, so now we're gonna go ahead and cut along the inner diameter. So again, I'm really very careful because with thermocol it's a higher chances of me breaking it. I'll recommend you to watch this step really carefully because working with the inner circle on a thermocol sheet was even more difficult. So I am cutting along the drawn line and now I'll be cutting along the horizontal and the vertical, making a kind of a plus sign so that I can easily break out the inner material. So just cut 2 slits in the middle like I'm showing you over here, and then with little amount of pressure you can easily break off the inner material. So just twist it and it will pop out. Similarly, I'll do the other sections as well. So guys, I'll really recommend you to go for a cardboard base because that is much easier, and I really hope that you are able to make the ring light with even more ease. So after all the effort, we finally have our ring in hand, and now it's time to put the rims around its circumference. So now I'll be taking the front and back of the old notebook and cutting it down into strips. And I'll start gluing these strips on the rims of the ring light. Using the fevicol, I'm just putting it on the edges. And here my struggle begins. I soon realized that this sheet is not gonna stick on the fevicol because the thermocol and the Fevicol were completely slipping against each other and the sheet was just not sticking. After multiple tries, I just gave in and then decided to just tape it all up. So here I am using a sellotape and a scissor, and I'll just be putting tape along the edges just to make it stick and make it work actually. Since I was making this for the first time, I did make a lot of mistakes while making it, and that's the reason I'm just explaining the process in really detail and trying not to cut off the most footage so that you don't make the same mistakes, and for you it's really easy making this. So now I'm going along the edges really carefully and just not trying to break my ring. And then I decided that okay, let's go ahead and put the tape on the strip first and then attach it to the ring. Smart kid. And it was much easier this way. So after you have done the outer ring, your ring light should look somewhat like this. Now we'll go ahead and do the inner diameter as well. So I'm working with the inner diameter and trying to stick the sheets. You can of course double tape it, or just like me you can just tape it all over, like front and back, like I'm doing it over here. So I just ran short of the strips, but I did both on each side, and I think it's really fine because the purpose of the strip is to just hold the aluminum foil in place, and we can work with this as well. So now I'll be taking the strips of aluminum foil and I'll be just sticking it onto the surface. So as of now I'm just checking how to place it, and then I'll take the Fevicol and very roughly you can actually pour the glue on the surface. It need not be neat because anyway we're gonna stick the aluminum foil on top of it. So generously add the Fevicol and start placing the aluminum foil on top of it. After all of this, your ring light should look somewhat like this. Now let's cover up the rims as well. So what the aluminum foil basically does is it will intensify the reflection of the LEDs even more, giving you a brighter light. So I am again taking strips of the aluminum foil and always put the shiny part facing outward. Like in the aluminum foil you can make out that there is one part that is more shiny than the other, so always put it up front so that it helps in the reflection. So just go ahead and cover the other parts as well, and after that your ring should look somewhat like this. And now, having done all of this effort, let's just move into pasting our LED strip. So these LED strip already come in a sticker format, so you just need to peel off the sticker and keep pasting it. I'll suggest you to take time with this because this process is gonna take you at least 10 to 15 minutes, and be really patient with this. So after uncoiling the LED, I'm just gonna peel up the sheet, and as you can see it's a bit sticky, so I'm just gonna go and start lining up my LEDs. So I'll be placing it from the very inner corner and moving my way out. As you can see, I'm really going slow at this step. So once you are done with one circle, it's time for you to move the second round. So over here you just need to overlap the two sections, like just place one beside the other and start lining up your circle again. Just peel and stick. Go slow and you'll be fine. Also make sure that you are sticking the circles really close so that you don't mess up towards the end and you don't have any space left to stick your LED. So after you have stuck the complete strip, your ring light should look somewhat like this. And now there is one important step which you need to follow, is that towards the end where you have the adapter attached to your LED, just leave a bit of LED free, don't stick it, so that your adapter falls free out of your ring light. Otherwise it will create a lot of weight and your ring light might break. So what I did is that I just placed the LEDs across so that my adapter falls out of the ring light, and I'm just sticking the LEDs on top of the other LEDs. So now move on to the final step, which is putting on the butter paper. So the butter paper will give you a diffuse light, like kind of a softbox effect, if you know what I mean. So I am taking a sketch pen and I'll be lining the ring light on the butter paper. And it's absolutely fine if you're messy with the complete craft because it's for your own personal use. So after the lining is done, we are gonna go ahead and cut out our butter paper. So with this, you're gonna stick the ends and put it on top of the ring. So with this final step done, your ring should look somewhat like this. And I must say, I'm really happy with how this DIY has turned out, and it's time for us to test our ring light. I mean, like, come on guys, with just 300 bucks you're able to make your own ring light, which also does the same, it solves the same purpose. At this point, I'm really proud of myself. The camera is autofocusing, but you can actually see how bright it is. I hope you really enjoyed the video, and if you did, please drop in a like. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.